Hey everyone, I'm the web novel guy, and today I'm bringing you 10 awesome web novels featuring betrayed main characters who rise up and walk the path to success. If you enjoy any of the recommendations, don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. 1. The 8 Empresses betrayed me, only to deeply regret it after being reborn. In his previous life, everyone envied Liu Ye, the 9-lives celestial lord, not only because he had 9 lives, but also because he had 8 stunningly peerless beauties. Who could have imagined that when Liu Ye was striving to become a heavenly Tao saint, all 8 of his partners would strike together, delivering a fatal blow? Said 9-heaven sword maiden, "I am the lord of the 9-heaven sword, but because of you, everyone thought I was just a sword servant. Liu Ye, you deserve to die." Said Red Lotus Fairy, "Senior brother, don't blame me. If it weren't for you, I would have long become an immortal couple with him. I don't want to become an immortal. I just want to be with him forever." Said Vermilion Bird Demon Empress, "Liu Ye, ha ha ha, when you slaughtered the demon clan, did you ever think that I am also a demon? You said they would harm me, but did you know that the one who has always harmed me is you?" In this web novel, the main character secretly helped the 8 Empresses at the most critical moments of their lives. Without ever revealing himself, he ensured their rise to power, but they never knew the truth. In the end, they betrayed him. Now, all of them, including the MC, have returned to the past with their memories intact. The Empresses are determined to grow stronger on their own this time, unaware that their rise in the previous life was only possible because of the MC's sacrifices. This time, the MC is changed. He's done being kind. No more helping, no more attachments. He's focused solely on his own cultivation, determined to watch from the shadows as those who betrayed him face the consequences of their actions. If you enjoy stories about betrayal, second chances, and cold-hearted revenge, this web novel might be right up your alley. Just a heads up, the translation quality isn't the best, but you can always use tools like ChatGPT or other AIs to clean it up for a smoother read. 2. Delayed affection is cheaper than grass. Why cry when I depart? Shumo has undergone rebirth and returned to the wealthy confines of the Shu family estate. In his previous life, despite being the true born heir, he found himself with distant parents and indifferent sisters within the Shu household. This environment eventually led to his untimely demise from a heart attack while hospitalized. Instead of him, the whole family showered affection on an adopted son. Despite this, he spared no effort in trying to win the favor of his parents and 6 sisters, only to be met with disdain. He endured slander, false accusations, scolding for perceived lack of etiquette, and verbal abuse, all in the name of familial love. However, in this new life, he suddenly realized the need to prioritize his own well-being. Thus, he cut ties, departed from the family, and forged his own path. Yet, as his parents and relatives witnessed his departure without hesitation, they belatedly recognized their disregard for their blood-related younger brother. Affection, like worthless weeds, blooms too late. I have severed familial bonds, so why do you now come to plead with me in vain? In this web novel, you'll witness the MC taking revenge on his family members one by one. It's not a slow burn because of pacing, it's because his revenge is so thorough and merciless that you might actually start to feel pity for those he targets. But then you remember what they did to him in his past life, and that pity disappears instantly. This is a dark and intense revenge story that pulls punches. If you're into powerful revenge plots with satisfying payback, This web novel will not disappoint. 3. The healer ditches the Boonies to become an S-rank adventurer. The boy from the hero's village doesn't know his cheat medicine is unrivaled. In this web novel, the MC is a humble pharmacist living in a quiet village. One day, a nobleman shows up and takes away his fiancée, who also happens to be his master's granddaughter. But this fiancée isn't just unfaithful, she's downright cruel. Not only has she been seeing the nobleman behind the MC's back, she forces the MC to work himself to the bone, then demands he leave the pharmacy he inherited from his late master. She even tells him to become her servant after announcing she's marrying the nobleman. Keep in mind, this guy was her childhood friend. Crushed but furious, the MC leaves the village behind and begins traveling. Along the way, he saves a girl from a monster attack and discovers just how powerful he really is. He's not just a pharmacist, he's a skilled fighter with abilities rivaling an S-rank adventurer. Eventually, he builds a successful life in the royal capital. Meanwhile, his ex-fiancée and the arrogant nobleman start facing the consequences of their choices. This is a story about karma, growth, and an overpowered MC who uses his unique pharmaceutical skills like sleep, poison, and paralysis to defeat enemies instantly. Even the elderly villagers who supported him turned out to be legendary heroes with deep connections. If you love stories where betrayal is answered with success, power, and satisfying revenge, give this one a try. You won't regret it. 4. After Rebirth, the female leads from other worlds came looking for me. Chen Yuan had been in love with a certain girl for years, but fate dealt him a cruel blow when, while trying to save her, he was involved in a car accident. After his death, he witnessed the heart-wrenching truth. His parents, overcome by grief, turned white overnight and spent their lives in sorrow, while the very girl he'd adored so long was too lazy or indifferent to even attend his funeral. That single, tragic incident taught him a bitter lesson, until perhaps heaven heard his desperate plea. Now, Chen Yuan has been granted one miraculous chance to change everything. By completing a series of missions, he can return to that fateful day and rewrite his destiny. Can he make amends for past regrets and create a future where those he loves finally receive the happiness they deserve? In this web novel, the MC gets a rare chance at rebirth, but there's a twist. To be reborn, he first has to complete a mission in another world, like helping a girl become queen. He completes all of the missions given to him by a god and is eventually reborn in his original world before a tragic accident happens. Everything seems back to normal until the god appears again with a warning. The MC did too good of a job, so good in fact that all the female leads from the other world are now crossing over into his current world to find him. This web novel blends comedy, light romance, and mystery as you slowly uncover what the MC accomplished in his past life and how it's coming back to affect his present. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely give this one a shot. 5. I was killed by my classmates and became God's Gofer. In this web novel, the MC starts as a guy named Makoto, who gets summoned to another world along with his classmates. Early on, he gains a mysterious skill called contract and uses it to make a deal with the king to protect his classmates, just in case the kingdom has darker motives. But instead of being appreciated, he's misunderstood and even bullied by the very people he tried to protect. The bullying gets worse and worse, until eventually one of his classmates falsely accuses and stabs him. At this point, Makoto lets his contract expire, essentially sacrificing himself to drag them all down with him. And he dies, satisfied with his revenge. But the story doesn't end there. God gives Makoto a second chance at life, not to save the world, but to rescue spirits before the world collapses. This time, he's reincarnated as a powerful girl named Finis, with strength beyond anything his former classmates could imagine.
From there, Finis begins to travel across a crumbling world, witnessing both the fallout of her revenge and the final moments of a dying world. This is a dark and unique isekai story with themes of betrayal, revenge, reincarnation, and power. If you're looking for something a little heavier with emotional payoff and an OP protagonist, this web novel is definitely worth checking out.
6. On the first day of my broken engagement, I was rewarded with the Supreme Bone. In this web novel, Lin Eng transmigrates into a cultivation world and becomes a sect disciple, only to get dumped by his beautiful junior sister right at the start. What seems like a terrible beginning is actually the trigger for his Golden Finger, a cheat ability that lets him see the lucky encounters and fortunes of others. And with that power, he starts stealing the fated opportunities meant for his enemies. As for the Chosen One, don't feel bad. He's the arrogant type who looks down on everyone. Watching him lose all his lucky breaks is actually part of the fun. This web novel is pretty average in terms of its setup, but the twist with the MCs stealing others' destiny makes it a surprisingly entertaining read. If you like underdogs turning the tables with clever power usage, this one's worth checking out. 7. Reborn as a demon emperor, I need to stay away from them. In this web novel, Yu Mu was once the powerful demon emperor who fought the child of destiny alone to save the world, a world that never believed in him. In the end, he was betrayed and killed by the person he loved the most. But now, he's been reborn. This time, he lives not for others, but for himself and for the few who truly cared for him. He's determined to prove that, without the support of heaven and fate, the so-called child of destiny is nothing but a puppet, and the so-called peak of the world, just a passing cloud. What I really like about this web novel is that the MC completely ignores the people who once worshipped the child of destiny and turned their backs on him. He doesn't waste time on fake friendships or toxic loyalties. Instead, he focuses on the people who actually mattered, like his new teacher, an old man who believed in him and stood by him. Their bond becomes a heartwarming father-son relationship. On the other hand, the MC doesn't care at all about his former teacher, the one who betrayed him in his past life. Just a heads up, though, the Child of Destiny does have heavy plot armor, so it can be a little annoying at times watching him bounce back over and over. But if you're into stories about second chances, betrayal, revenge, and finding real loyalty, this one's a solid pick. Number 8. Netorare Ureshi. I wasn't a boyfriend, but a slave. In this web novel, the MC isn't a boyfriend, he's basically a slave. His fiancée, Sasaki Erika, was chosen by his parents. She's his childhood friend, and on the surface, seems perfect, beautiful, smart, and admired by everyone. People around them even call them the ideal couple. But behind closed doors, Erika is a nightmare, abusive, controlling, emotionally manipulative, and downright cruel. The MC is constantly exhausted trying to keep up with her endless demands. Then one day, everything changes. He receives a cheating video. Erika, in bed with the class playboy Ishido Wataru. They're trash-talking the MC and laughing during their pillow talk. But instead of feeling hurt, the MC feels pure joy, because to him, that video is not betrayal, it's freedom. Word spreads fast, but the MC isn't sad. In fact, now that he's freed, the girls who had always silently worried about him started showing their interest. And here's the twist. He's already successful. Erika just never knew it. So yes, this web novel has NTR, but it's not real NTR because the MC never loved Erika. He wanted out from the beginning. This is more a story of karma and sweet revenge, where the cheating fiancée and her lover face brutal consequences while the MC moves on to a better life. The start can be a bit frustrating with so many POV shifts, but if you enjoy stories where the scumbags get what they deserve and the MC rises above it all, this one will definitely leave you satisfied.
9. After defying the villain's fate for 9 lifetimes, the heroines turn mad. In this web novel, Jiang Chen is transmigrated into a fantasy novel world, straight into the role of the villainous senior brother. With no cheat system or golden finger to rely on, he chooses not to become cannon fodder. Instead, he lives through 9 lifetimes, constantly reincarnating and doing everything he can to be a righteous and upright senior brother. But fate is cruel. No matter how hard he tries, he's always given the villain aura, causing others to misunderstand, hate, and betray him over and over again. So in his 10th life, Jiang Chen finally gives up. His heart turns cold. If heaven insists he must play the villain, he decides he won't resist anymore. Jiang Chen says, "Since heaven wants me to be a villain, why should I defy it?" He stops being kind. He stops trying to explain himself. Everyone around him continues to misunderstand him, including his master and fellow disciples. Meanwhile, the so-called protagonist, the one destined to ascend, begins slaughtering everyone, even using Jiang Chen's martial siblings and master to kill him. But this time, something changes. People start regaining memories of their past lives. Memories of how Jiang Chen sacrificed everything to protect them, and how the hero they trusted is actually the true monster. This is a powerful regret-type web novel, filled with emotional payback, tragic misunderstanding, and the eventual truth being revealed. If you enjoy stories where the people who wronged the MC suffer the weight of guilt and regret once the truth comes out, this one will absolutely hit the mark.
10. I decided to abandon the traitors who planned to use and dispose of me, the hero, at the last moment. In this web novel, every member of the hero's party, including the MC's childhood sweetheart, ends up getting seduced by a trashy, manipulative prince. So just when they're on the brink of victory against the Demon Lord, the MC flips the script and refuses to deal the final blow. Instead of saving the kingdom, he lets the Demon Lord live and walks away. What happens next? The Demon Lord revives his army and starts attacking the kingdom again. And now, with no hero left to protect it, the kingdom is completely helpless, while the MC is out there relaxing and enjoying life. This is a short, punchy revenge story, and honestly, very satisfying to read. I saw a great review that called it a revenge story with the boys against some evil bee. And I couldn't agree more. If you're in the mood for a fast-paced, no-nonsense revenge web novel where the traitors get exactly what they deserve, definitely give this one a shot.
That's it for today's list. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. See you in the next one.